Hi, Amy. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. Congratulations for the excellent result, Amy.
Thank you so much, sir. It was all your guidance and support and help. It's I barely did like only my part on the beginning, but yeah, only thanks to you or everything basically, sir. So from beginning of like year 11 summer, we were doing this, and I guess all the hard work paid off.
Yes, it did. It did. And you really dedicated yourself and worked really hard. So, can you finally tell me what was your result in mathematics?
A star.
That's amazing. That's excellent. I'm so happy about it. So, what I thought is that, let's take some learnings from our journey, which had been there for a couple of years. And it was really a pleasure for me to teach you and guide you as we went along. But you really systematically worked. So, could you summarize and share with me some thoughts which really helped you get such good marks, which I can also share with other students?
Definitely. So I did make a couple notes before because obviously the main thing that we always did in every session after like learning content, you know how in the beginning I used to say like I just do questions from my book, and then you would tell me like how there's no point doing all 50 of the same ish question because it's basically pointless, which is what I know many of my friends did and others who didn't achieve that A star or just A's, because they think that doing textbook questions just constantly would make them like I've done all the questions, yeah, therefore I'm okay. But the thing is that you want that variety and that difference. So I started off exactly like them and doing just a lot of questions, but it's all based on the same thing and thinking I get it, and spend a lot of time just doing the same thing instead do like a 5 or 6 and see if you get it, and then kind of just move on to the next thing, not just keep going over the same thing. And the main thing we did in every session was just past paper questions over and over. I can't like emphasize that enough. I know most A-level students you talk to, no matter the subject, it's always do past paper questions, and because that's the best way you're going to know like how the exam's going to turn out.
Tip. Since questions are not repeated, an expert can help you practice with related questions, and those can be expected in your exam. That really helps.
But the main thing for me was obviously when I don't get something, the main thing that when I struggled with was always trig, and like just the whole cos tan everything. And constantly as we're progressing through the years, you can always see me struggling at that point. So I made it my thing during that exam period to just focus mainly on that, because by the time you get to that, towards your exam season, where your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. So putting that together was like a highlight and a really important, definitely for the exams. So that, yeah, definitely topped it, I guess.
Right. So you identified your weak area and then you focused on it and worked on it. That made the
Definitely.
difference, right? So then
Yeah.
it just cleared your way for a perfect score. That's perfectly.
Yeah. And I think the topic that I'm struggling on, especially trig, because it overlaps so much in like so many different topics, I needed to get that nailed before like even going in the exam, because the weakness that I had wasn't like something that just pops here and again, like graphs or something. It's like trig is basically the basis of like almost every topic. So I had to get that kind of cornered with you. And thank you so much, sir, for helping me with that like a lot, because I know we focused a lot on that. So it really, paid off in the big run, because I remember I can like just thinking back at the questions that I got, most of them based on trig, no matter the thing, because there'll always be follow-ups and things. It doesn't matter if it's circles or anything, trig always is coming up. So I definitely think, for another student out there, if you know your weaknesses, always keep that at the top of your list, because I know that when you think that you're like weak at something, you always worry that you don't want to touch that thing because you want to look at your scores and be like, yeah, I'm getting them all right. But the thing is that if you see yourself getting them wrong, at least you know where you're working towards. That's a hard part, but if you can get over that, then I'm sure you would ace everything. So
Yeah, while we were working with your past examination questions, we also noticed that, a question will have subsections, many different parts, and many concepts will be involved in answering a question. So as you say correctly, almost every question will have a trick part.
yeah.
Maybe integration, maybe derivatives, maybe whatever, right? They'll have a small part, many of them. And if this is not taken care of, then you keep losing those marks, and that's a big damage to your marks at the end, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So that's great that you really worked on it, and I'm happy that you perfected in all the areas. What is your suggestion for others like you who are working hard to get through this examination at Excel year 13?
So you know how I did say about past paper questions, that's always a must, but start revising early. It's just so important just to avoid that cramming. I know so many of my friends being like, I prioritize this A level over maths, and now maths is here and I don't know where to start. The thing with maths though is that because it's so skills based, there's no content as such you need to learn. It's not like when I did biology and chemistry, I'm like revising just content of stuff. It doesn't require me doing that many like skill-based things. The thing with maths is that it's not that, like, if I memorize a whole textbook of things, it's not going to help me in any way. It's just practice, practice, practice. So for maths, you just have to start super early, because when you've got those skills in your head, like it's so important when you see a question, because it's using so many different aspects of the maths that you've learned. It's not straightforward. There's always a little key like thing, and you couldn't see that. And I remember working through the questions with you. I'm always like, oh my God, like how can you even see that? You just can't like see it in that kind of angle. So that perspective needs to be broadened as you do more and more questions. You can suss out and see different things. So that's really important. And also just looking at other exam boards. So when I did my revision, I'm not just looking at my like kind of questions. You know how we looked at some other really tricky challenges, and you know how you picked out some questions that you would be like, this is beyond your spec, but it's also good to see how challenging the question can get. And that's important so that you can get out of your comfort zone a little bit, and you can like see how hard the questions can, what can come up. And that definitely did come up in the real thing. There were questions that still throw me. Like maths is like, it doesn't matter how much revision you do, there's always a question out there that will make you think like, oh my God, I don't understand anything. It doesn't matter how much revision you've done, you would think like, where do I even start? So, and yeah, I just made a couple notes in terms of what other students would like. Asking for help, I think, is so important. I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but like, you don't want to, everyone feels worried in terms of just saying, yeah, I made a mistake, I don't understand this, when all your other classmates may get it. And I definitely know for me, for mechanics, I had lots of people in my class who are great at physics and do physics. So mechanics for them was just this easy, they just get it in their head, nail it. But for me, it took like an extra lot of like work, and like it was really hard, but I had to watch a lot of videos, obviously all the help from you, sir, but that was definitely hard. But me asking for that help, I don't care like if it makes me look like stupid or whatever, I just had to ask that, because obviously now it paid off. So that's super important. It doesn't matter, no one's judging you. So anyway, all your teachers and your friends, they're all like supportive, so that's like definitely fine to do.
That was good, the way you did it, and I really appreciate it. And that
Thank you, sir.
brings you here, right? Okay.
I guess so, yeah.
So, could you share with us some difficult questions during the exam where you got stuck or whatever, and how did you deal with it?
Oh, thinking back to the actual paper, but it wasn't, calculus, integration, differentiation. When I did those questions, I felt confident. Like I was like, yeah, this is this, I know the steps. Mr. Kumar has taught me exactly what to show the examiner so they can look at it and be like, yeah, tick, tick, tick. When it came to those questions, I felt happy. So, when I look through the paper, I'm trying to find what questions can I do and what can't I do. But yeah, there were some wordy ones, but yeah, I can't remember exactly what every mark, so.
That's great. So, I mean, it was so good talking to you and sharing with you your experience of going through this journey and attaining the best possible marks in your area. So, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations and a lot of success for your future.
Thank you so much, sir. I genuinely appreciate it so much. Sir, if it wasn't for all your time and your dedication on your end, there's no way I could have done it, like obviously by myself, especially maths being like a super hard A level, everyone knows. So yeah, definitely. So like I'm just so lucky to have you as my tutor and to have helped me for this long. I'm surprised you haven't got sick of me yet. Me posting like constantly spamming you with questions. You never got like irritated or annoyed. You always like, whenever I have a question, you immediately are like there responding. I honestly couldn't be more grateful. So thank you so much. So.
No, it was my pleasure. Actually, I loved answering your questions, mainly because you had worked so hard at them and you are very specific. Let's be very clear about it. You were very specific about every question, right? So I knew exactly where to look and what, and because I had been teaching you for a long time, I knew what concept is still not clear to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that helped me to answer your questions. The only thing which came between us is the time zone, right? Because I'm
All
sitting
right.
here in
Yeah,
Canada, you are in UK, about 6 hours time
yeah.
zone. So sometimes that could be a problem, but I think most of the time we were like on the dot, right?
Mm. Oh,
And
I honestly
we don't
sometimes forgot, sir, that you were in Canada. I honestly thought you were just down the road because the way it was quite smooth and really efficient. Like whenever the class comes, you're here, I'm here, and it just ran really smoothly. Like I just always forget that you're all the way, like miles and miles away from me, but nothing, not like Zoom didn't go wrong or anything. And every session was so helpful. Like I just learned so much. In every session, I'm learning something new and something that's going to help me, and it will pay off at the real deal when it comes to it. And I just remember certain things when I'm doing with you, because I started learning from you from like year 11 summer. Now it's like year 13, almost 2.5 like years. You know my way of thinking, so whenever you do a session for me, it's so personalized, because you're like, Amy doesn't get this and this is how she thinks, so let's try and answer it in that way. So which I found super helpful, because when you look on YouTube and stuff, they're just like telling you in what maybe another student is doing, or an average student does, or a really good student does. So getting that personalized help, which you do for, I bet, for all your students, that's what makes that difference. So that's definitely another part to play. It's not just because I've been like working really hard as well, it's also the tutor and the student connection, which I don't get with like my teachers at school said, like it's definitely another like I don't get that same bond and connection with them. So yeah, for making it click like that, I'm very blessed. So thank you, sir.
And I mean, congratulations to you, and also congratulate to your parents. And was really, I'm very thankful to your parents, especially your mother, who had been, behind you just so that you could focus and we could work better on these classes. So
Definitely,
thanks a
yeah.
lot to your mother also for all the efforts
I'll
she
let
has
her
put
know.
in the background, right? For the success of both of us in this particular
Yeah.
case, right? Okay, great, Amy. Thank you and all the best.
All right. Bye, sir. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.
Yeah.
Join Anil Kumar classes by sending an email on the address given. All the best and lot of success to you. Thank you.